Hello and welcome back everyone to Zenith Academy Online. I am Shahana and today we are on our last and final session of arithmetic progression where we will be solving some advanced problems relating to the topic. In our previous videos, we have covered all the concepts and we have also learned some important tips and tricks to solve the questions. So I suggest you, if you haven't yet checked out those videos, so please go and check out those videos so that you can be thorough with the topic and also you'll find easier to solve these problems. So let us begin. So our question number 1 is, if the sum of first m terms of an AP be n and the sum of first n terms of the same AP be m, show that sum of its m plus n terms is minus m plus n. Now these kind of questions we have solved in our previous videos as well. One basic important idea to keep in mind while solving these kind of questions where we don't get any figures, we just get these alphabet and we need to prove. We always need to take the sums in terms of m and n so that proving is easier. In these kind of questions, what we need to do is first let us see what we have been given. Sum of first m terms. Sum of first m terms is equals to n. Now, in our previous video, we have learned that whenever we have not been given the last term of an AP, what we take the formula as n by 2, 2a plus n minus 1 into d as the sum of an AP. Now, here also we don't know what is the AP. So, what we can write for Sm, that is sum of m terms we have been given m, so here the value will be m by 2, 2a plus m minus 1 into d. This is how we can write sum of m terms. So now just simplify this. M by 2, 2a plus m minus 1 into d is equals to n. We can shift 2 there and we can multiply m to the bracket. M into 2a will give us 2am, m into d. So m into m is m square d. M into minus 1 into d will give us minus m d, and we have shifted 2 on that side, so this is 2n. Similarly, in the same AP, we know that sum of n terms is equals to m. So now we have been given that it is the same AP. So A and D will be same. So we can write here, we can use the term A and D here also. So what we can write for Sn? Sn is equals to n by 2, 2a plus n minus 1 into d. So, this will be n by 2, 2a plus n minus 1 into d is equal to m. Multiplying n and shifting 2 on the other side, what we'll get? 2 into a into n will give us 2an plus n into d will give us n square d minus n into minus 1 into d will give us minus nd is equal to 2m, because we have shifted 2 here. Now this is our one equation and this is another equation. Let's mark it as 1 and this as 2. What operations we can perform on these algebraic equations so that we can get only m and n as the answer? Let's see. What was our equation? I am writing equation 1 and 2 again. Now please see carefully. If I perform addition on these equations, what we will get? See, 2a will be common, m plus n, d will be common, m square plus n square, and d will be common again here, minus d, and we'll get m minus n. 2 will be common and we'll get m plus n. But here, since to cancel out these terms and simplify it more, can we cancel those terms? We will not be able to cancel those terms. So now let us see if we can subtract these two equations. So when we subtract, let's change the sign. Now 2a will be common, m minus n plus d will be common. We can take m square minus n square. Similarly here, if we take minus d common, what we'll get? M minus n. So now here we need m minus n because we have m minus n here. So what we can do, take minus 2 common and take it as m minus n. So when we open the bracket, we'll get 2n as plus 2n and minus 2m. So now since here it is minus m minus n is common, m minus n is also here. Here it is m square minus n square and here it is again m minus n. Now I show you the next step, how can we simplify it. 2a m minus n plus d. Now we know the property a square minus b square is equals to a minus b into a plus b. So using that, m minus n into m plus n minus d m minus n. This is minus 2 into m minus n. So we take m minus n as common. 2a plus d into m plus n is remaining minus d is equals to minus 2 m minus n. So m minus n gets cancelled. What is remaining is 2a plus d. D here we can take common again and simplify it. So it will be 2a. So let's take d common. M plus n minus 1 is equal to minus 2. Now what we can do further is, now let's see what is sum of m plus n terms. This is, we need to prove as minus m plus n. Now sum of m plus n terms, how can we write that? We know the formula, n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1d. So just putting this in the formula, m plus n by 2, 2a plus instead of n we are putting m plus n. So m plus n minus 1 into d. Now see, 2a plus m plus n minus 1 into d. This is what we have got here, which is equal to minus 2. So it is easy for us to solve now. M plus n by 2 into minus 2. 2 and 2 gets cancelled. So our answer is minus m plus n, which is what we need to prove. Now this question is a very tricky question. The pth term of an AP is 20 and its qth term is 10. Show that sum of its first p plus q terms is p plus q by 2 into 30 plus 10 upon p minus q. Now please see carefully what we have been given. Pth term, we can write it as Tp. We know what is nth term of an AP, a plus n minus 1d. So instead of n, the term used here is p. So we can write it in the similar manner, a plus p minus 1 into d. Now this is our pth term. Another term which we have been given is the qth term. A plus q minus 1 into d. A plus p minus 1 into d is equal to 20 and this is equal to 10. Now what we need to prove is the sum of its first p plus q terms. Please understand that it is not the sum of pth term and qth term. That is, we just cannot find the answer by adding these two terms. What we need to find is sum of p plus q terms. We know the formula for the sum, n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1d. So instead of n, we have been given p plus q terms. So p plus q by 2 into 2a plus p plus q minus 1 into d. This is what a formula should be. So now what operations we can perform? Let's see by first adding these two equations. So when we add these two equations, this is 1 and this is 2. So when we add these two equations, what we'll get? A plus a will give us 2a. D will take common, p minus 1 plus q minus 1. Will be equal to 20 plus 10 is equals to 30. Let's see, 2a plus d, p plus q minus 2 is equals to 30. So now we have got this as another equation. We cannot solve it further. So let's see, we mark it first as equation 3. Now what we can do further? So now since we are not getting answer, we can perform another operation on this algebraic equations. So now the second operation we can do is subtract two from 1. Changing the signs because we are subtracting. So A and A will get cancelled. D, when we take common, we get p minus 1 minus q. Since q minus 1 is in the bracket, when we open the bracket it will be minus minus plus, so q plus 1. 20 minus 10 will give us 10. So now 1 and 1 gets cancelled. What we get? D into p minus q is equals to 10. So what will be our D? When we simplify it further, 10 upon p minus q. Now let's see. See, 10 upon p minus q is one of our terms and 30 is also one of our terms. So we can use both these equations. So now let us see how we need to use these equations. Let's see, this is equation 4. Now, sum of p plus q terms. We know how to write it. P plus q by 2 into 2a plus p plus q minus 1 into d. Now this whole equation should be equal to p plus q by 2 into 30 plus 10 upon p minus q. P plus q by 2, we have got p plus q by 2. Now how can the equation in the bracket, we can write it as 30 plus 10 upon p minus q. So for that, now let us see, 30 is equal to 2a plus d into p plus q minus 2. So now here we have q minus 1. So how can we make it p plus q minus 2? P plus q by 2, 2a plus p plus q. We need 30, we also need 10 upon p minus q, that is an extra value of d as well. So when we need to introduce an extra value of d, so how can we introduce that? This is our equation. So when we introduce d, so it will be minus d and plus d together, because if they cancel out, there is no value here. So we can introduce it like this, minus d and plus d together. This will make no change in this equation. P plus q by 2 into 2a plus, what we can do, we can take minus, we can take here plus d common, and what we can write, p plus q minus 1, because we have taken for this term, only for this term we have taken d as common. So we are writing it as p plus q minus 1, okay, plus d. So now solving it further, this d we can write it as 10 upon p minus q, the value we found out. So when we write it like this, 2a plus d into p plus q, this will become minus 2 plus 10 upon p minus q, the value of d, equation number 4. So now we have 2a plus d into p plus q minus 2. This whole term was equal to 30, we know, as in equation 3 we have found out. So just simply putting it here, p plus q by 2 into this whole term is 30 plus 10 upon p minus q. Hence proved that sum of its p plus Q terms is this. Now we head on to our third question. A manufacturer of TV sets produces 600 units in the third year and 700 units in the 7th year. Assuming that the production increases uniformly by a fixed number every year, we need to find there are three questions. The production in the first year, the production in the 10th year, and the total production of 7 years. Now let us first understand the question. Manufacturer of TV sets produces 600 units in third year and 700 in 7th year. The production is increasing uniformly by a fixed number every year. Since the production is increasing every year by a fixed number, the production is in AP. Have been given third year production, that is term 3, third year production is 600 units. So what we can write, since this is an AP, so A will be our first term plus 3 minus 1 into D is equals to 600 units. So this will be A plus 2D is equals to 600. This will form our equation 1. Similarly, in the 7th year, it is 700 units. 7th year production is 700 units. So this is our term 7 because production is in AP is equals to 700. So this, what we can write for term 7, we know it is A plus 6D. A plus 7 minus 1 into D is equals to 700. This will be our equation number 2. We can solve these two equations to get the value of A and D. We can put it and find the answer. A plus 2D is equals to 600 and A plus 6D is equals to 700. So subtracting 2 from 1, we change the sign, plus, minus and minus. A and A gets cancelled. 2 minus 6 is minus 4D. This is 600 minus 700 is minus 100. Minus gets cancelled. D is equals to 100 divided by 4. This is equals to 25. So this implies the production increases every year by 25 units. Now if we know D, we can find A by putting it in any of these equations. So A plus 2 into 25 will give us 600. So 25 2s are 50, we know. 600. A is equals to 550. A is equals to 550. A is always the first term of the AP. So this implies first year production is equals to 550 units, which is what asked in our part first, the production in the first year. So the production in the first year is 550 units. Our second part says the production in the 10th year. Now we know A, we know D. We can find the 10th year production. It's easy. We know Tn is equals to A plus n minus 1 into D. N is 10. So 10th year production is A we know as 550 plus n is 10. So 10 minus 1 will give us 9 into d is equal to 25. So our answer will be 550 plus 25 nines will give us 225. So adding these two will get 775 units. Please remember to write units or any kind of unit. If the question is asked in units, any type of unit like length, distance, etc., kilometer, centimeter, etc., please don't forget to write units in exam. Now our third question is the total production in 7 years. So when we need to find the total production of 7 years, we don't need to find the 7th year production. 7th year production is already given to us as 700 units. We need to find the total production of the manufacturer in 7 years. So total production means the sum of all production, the sum of production of all years. So sum of 7 years, we can denote it by S7. We know the formula, n by 2, 2a plus n minus 1 into d. N we know as 7, 2 into a we found out as 550 plus 7 minus 1 we know as 6 into d is equal to 25. Solve this. 2 into 550 will give us 1100 plus 6 into 25 will give us 150. So now we just need to solve this. $4,375 units is the total production in 7 years. Hence, we found the answer. Now, let's move on to this next question. In an AP, the sum of first 10 terms is minus 80. Sum of first 10 terms we have been given, and the sum of next 10 terms is minus 280. Now this is sum of next 10 terms as minus 280. We need to find the AP. So sum of first 10 terms, we can write it as S10, is given to us as minus 80. Now the next thing which we have been given is sum of next 10 terms. Next 10 terms. So how can we write next 10 terms? Either we can do one thing. Sum of 10 plus sum of 10 terms will give us sum of 20 terms. This is because first 10 and the next 10 terms we have been given. So we can take 10 plus 10 as 20, which will what? Give us what? Minus 80 plus minus 280. This is what it means. Sum of 10 terms plus sum of 10 terms will give us what? Minus 80 plus minus 280. Minus 360 is the sum of 20 terms. For sum of 10 terms, what we can write? We know the formula, n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. This is our formula for sum. Now putting this value, sum of 10th term will be 10 by 2, 2a, a we don't know, 10 minus 1 will give us 9. This will be 10 by 2, 2a plus 9d. So when we simplify this, we know 2 5s are 10 and so minus 80 is equals to 5 into 2a plus 9 into d. So this will be 5 and 80 is divisible by 5. This is 16. So what we'll get? 2a plus 9d is equals to minus 16 as a first equation. Now S20 is equals to minus 360 we know. So writing this in the similar manner, 20 by 2, 2a plus 20 minus 1 we know as 19 into d is equals to 360 minus 360. So 2 tens are 20, 360 and 10 is divisible. So what we'll get? 2a plus 19d is equals to minus 36 as our equation number 2. So now (2a plus 9d and 2a plus 19d), we have a common term 2a which will get cancelled, and and then we'll get a and values of a and d. So let's solve it. 2a plus 9d is equals to minus 16 and 2a plus 19d is equals to minus 36. So we change the signs. When we subtract 2 from 1, we'll change the signs. 2 and 2a get cancelled. 9 minus 19d will give us minus 10d. Minus 16 plus 36 will give us plus 20. So our d will be equal to minus 2. We can put the value of d in any of these equations to get a. So what we'll do? 2a plus 9 into minus 2 is equals to minus 16. So this will give us 2a minus 18 is equals to minus 16 equal to minus 16 plus 18, because when we shift it on the other side the sign changes. A is equals to plus 2, so a will be equal to plus 1. So now we have a is equals to 1 and d is equals to minus 2. We can form the AP. AP is a plus d, a plus 2d and so on. So our AP will be 1 plus minus 2, 1 plus 2 into minus 2 and so on. So our AP will be 1 plus minus 2 is minus 1, 1 plus 2 into minus 2 is 1 minus 4, which will give us minus 3 and so on. Hence our answer. Moving on to our next question. Question number 5. It says, find the sum of all 3-digit numbers which leave the remainder 3 when divided by 5. We need to find the sum of all 3-digit numbers which leave the remainder 3 when divided by 5. What are the 3-digit numbers? It starts with 100. 101, 102, 103 and so on. And what is our last number? 999. These are three-digit numbers. Now in the question we have been asked three-digit numbers which leave the remainder as 3 when divided by 5. The logic behind this is, it is simple. Like, what all numbers are divisible by 5? 100 is divisible by 5. We know the property of divisibility by 5. The numbers ending with 5 or 0 will be divisible by 5. So the next number divisible by 5 is 105. Next is 110 and so on. So what we can do, we need the remainder to be 3. We can add 3 to each of these terms. So what we'll get? 103, 108, 113 and so on till our last number. Here the last number divisible by 5 will be 995. Here it will be 995 when added by 3 will give us 998. So this will form the series when divided by 5 will leave the remainder as 3. Now let us see, is this series an AP? So when we see 108 minus 103 is equals to 5, 113 minus 108 is equals to 5, we have a common difference as 5. So this is an AP. Now since this is an AP, we need to find the sum. We have A, we have found out D and we have the last term. So it is easy now to find the sum. S is equals to n by 2 A plus L. So this is, now we don't know n, but we know the last term, that is the nth term. So we can find the n terms of an AP, total number of the terms in the AP. So our nth term, finding nth term is A plus n minus 1 into D. This nth term is 998. A we know as 103 plus n minus 1 into D we know as 5. So solving it further, we will get 998 is equals to 103 plus 5n minus 5. 103 minus 5 will give us what? 103 minus 5 will give us 98. Shifting 98 on this side, it will become minus 98 and this is equals to 5n. So this is 900 is equals to 5n. So this implies our n is equals to 900 divided by 5, which will give us 180. So total number of terms, that is n, is equals to 180. So just put this in the formula. S is equals to 180 divided by 2 into A we know as 103 plus L we know, that is the last term, as 998. So it will be 180 divided by 2 will give us what? 90. 103 plus 998, we'll solve this, we'll get 1101. So multiplying 90 by 1101, we'll get and hence this is the sum of n terms of the AP. Heading on to the next question, two APs are such that the common difference of both is 8. If the difference between their 50th term is 50, what will be the difference between their 80th terms? Two APs are such that the common difference of both is 8. So let us say the common difference is denoted by D and this is equal to 8 for both the APs. If the difference between their 50th term is 50. So for first AP, let us denote the nth term, that is here it is 50th term, by this small t. So for first AP, so T50 is equal to, for first AP we are taking first term as small a plus 50 minus 1 into D, which is equals to a plus 49D. For the second AP, let us denote the 50th term of the second AP by capital T. So what we'll get, 50th term. Now here we have taken small a as the first term. So let's take capital A for second AP as the first term, a plus 49. D will remain same because we have the common difference of both the APs is same. So now when we have written these terms, it is given that the difference between their 50th term is 50. So this means T50 minus T50 is 50. We can write this in terms of A and D. So this is A plus 49D minus A plus 49D is equals to 50. Opening the bracket and changing the signs, we'll get so 49D and minus 49D will get cancelled. What we'll get? A minus A is equal to 50. Now this was what was given in the question. What we need to find is the difference between their 80th terms. So what will be the difference between their 80th terms? So for the first AP, our 80th term will be equal to A plus 79D. 80 minus 1 into D, that is 79D. So, and for the second AP, we will have capital T 80 is equals to capital A plus 79 into D. So, the difference we need to find, that is T80 minus T80. So this will give us what? A plus 79D minus A plus 79D. So when we open the brackets and change the signs, we'll get 79D and 79D will get cancelled and we'll get the remainder as A minus A. Now, A minus A we found out as equal to 50. So, the difference of the 80th terms of the two AP will be equal to 50. So, we have completed our today's session and we have completed the topic arithmetic progression. If you have any doubts or any queries, please leave it in the comment section below. We'll be very happy to answer your queries. Also, if you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, I request you to please subscribe and keep liking and keep sharing it with your friends. Thank you. Keep the learning on.